is what is solids. So solids is what? The substance which is showing certain specific properties, and by seeing the specific properties of it, we can say that this particular substance is solid and other substance is liquid and other substance is gas. Right? Okay. Now why these substances, the different substances are showing different properties? These properties or these states, properties of states, you can say, the states can be explained just by two simple things. What are the two simple things? The first one is interparticle or intermolecular space. All of us know this. This is nothing new for us. Intermolecular space. Okay. In case of solids, you know the space is very less. The intermolecular space is very less. Okay. And in case of gases, it is wide. In case of liquids, it is in between. And the second factor is obviously the intermolecular force of attraction. Intermolecular force of attraction. Okay. Force of attraction. Obviously, intermolecular space is less. Why? Because intermolecular force of attraction is very high in case of what? In case of solids. Right? But here we are going to study only for the solids. Now solids can be of, depending on, first of all, one classification we are going to study. Classification depending on the intermolecular force of attraction. What kind of intermolecular force of attraction is there? Depending on that, the solids can be classified in different types. Okay, solids, I'm telling solids can be classified in different types. What are these? The first type we call ionic solids. See, from the word itself you can understand this. Ionic solids. Ionic solids means here the intermolecular force of attraction will be ionic force of attraction. That is electrostatic force of attraction. That means the particles that is present in the solid must be ionic. Some positive ion, some negative ion. Suppose sodium positive is there and chloride negative is there. And they are attracted by what kind of force? They are attracted by the ionic force of attraction, electrostatic force of attraction. So if the particles that is present in the solid are attracted, that is the intermolecular force of attraction is ionic in nature, then that particular solids or those particular solids are called ionic solids. Fine? Okay. The second one is metallic solid. Simple, very simple. Okay. Metallic solids. What are metallic solids? The metal, suppose a piece of iron. If I give you a piece of iron, a piece of gold, a piece of copper, whatever, what are present as the particles? Just the iron atoms. What are present over here? Just the iron atoms packed. Iron atoms packed. If I give a piece of iron atoms packed. Now what is the force of attraction between them? There is a special kind of force of attraction, and that force of attraction is known as metallic force of attraction. We call it metallic force of attraction. Okay? And that kind of solid hence is known as what? Metallic solids or metallic bond solids. We call them ionic bond solid. Metallic bond solid. Okay? Because it is depending on what? It is depending on the nature of the bond that is present, nature of the intermolecular force of attraction that is present. The third type is molecular solid. Molecular solid means now the particles that is present are itself the molecules. Suppose I am talking of ice. Now what are the particles in ice? The particles in ice is H2O, right? The particles in ice is H2O. So H2O are the particles. Now in between the molecules, there can be two types of forces of attraction. What are the two types? One is, let's study this in class 11. One is polar, if the molecule is polar, and another one is non-polar. If the molecule is non-polar. Clear? So if it is polar, then that means the molecular solids or molecular bond solids can be of two types. One is the polar molecular bond solid, another one is non-polar molecular bond solid. Polar molecular bond solid means what? The molecules that is present must be polar, so that there must be a dipole-dipole interaction between them. And if they are non-polar, there will be no dipole-dipole interaction, just the molecular force of attraction, simple van der Waals force of attraction, okay, which is non-polar molecular solids. Clear? And the special type is there, the fourth type, that is hydrogen bonding solid. That you already know, hydrogen bonding solid. Actually, this is also an example of hydrogen bonding solid. Hydrogen bonding means in between the molecules there will be intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Already we know intermolecular hydrogen bonding. We are going to study a lot about intermolecular hydrogen bonding in the coming days. Okay? Fine, coming year I should say this year. Okay? So hydrogen bonding solid. These are the different types of solids. These are the different types of solids depending on what? Depending on the intermolecular force of attraction. Clear? Okay? That is one way of classification. The other way of classification which we are going to study, this is this much only. Other way of classification which we are going to study mainly is depending on the arrangement of the particles. Depending on the arrangement of the particles. If we observe the two types of solids, there are two types of solids. Observe the properties of the solids, you will find that there are two types of solids. One we call crystalline solid, another one we call amorphous solid. Crystalline solid and amorphous solid. Okay? Now, how can you understand? Suppose this is one, or this is one. Out of this, suppose one is crystalline, one is amorphous. But how can you identify that which one is amorphous, which one is crystalline? We don't know, right? How can you come to know that which one is amorphous, which one is crystalline? There must be some difference in properties. Difference in properties must be there. Now, what is the difference in properties? Amorphous solids melt in a range of temperature. Range of temperature means it melts from a particular temperature to another particular temperature. Within that range, in any temperature, at any temperature, it can melt. For example, just an example, the amorphous solid, the most common example is glass. Okay, which melts at in between 200 degrees Celsius to 250 degrees Celsius. This melts in between 200 degrees Celsius to 250 degrees Celsius. It does not have any sharp melting point. Okay, but if we talk about a crystalline solid that melts at a very sharp melting point, means very definite melting point. Okay, for example, suppose ice. We know that ice melts at 0 degrees Celsius. We know this, right? At 0 degrees Celsius. No range. Understood that? If certain solids are melt at a specific temperature, at a particular temperature, then those solids are called crystalline solids. This is just one difference in property actually. There are so many other differences also. Okay? And if the solid melts in a range of temperatures, within a range of temperature, then those are called amorphous solids. Now, what is the characteristic difference of it? What is the difference in between the amorphous characteristic difference? Means inside, what is the difference? The difference is, in a crystalline solid, the particles, whatever particles are there, okay, it may be, as I told, ions, it may be atoms in case of metallic solid, it may be molecule in case of molecular solids. Clear? Okay, whatever are the particles, these particles are present uniformly. These particles are present very uniformly throughout the solid. Throughout the solid, these particles are present very uniformly. Clear? Very uniformly arranged. Okay, throughout the solid. Then those solids are showing the properties of crystalline solids. But if this uniformity is only for a short range, means for a particular space, for a particular region, this uniformity is there, and remaining region it is haphazardly arranged. Clear? Then they show what? They show the character of amorphous solids. Is it clear? That's first thing. First difference. And what is the difference? Why the difference is there? The internal matter is this. That in crystalline solid they are all uniformly arranged, and in case of amorphous solid they are not uniformly arranged. They are arranged in a short range. Uniformly arranged in a short range, not completely uniformly arranged. First thing. The second thing is that one more thing, that solids are also called rigids. Solids are also called rigids. They are called rigids. And the gas and the liquid and gases are also called fluids. All of us know the reason for this. Rigids. Why rigids? Because they can move. Fluids. Why fluids? Because they can flow. We know the difference between movement and flowing. What is the difference between? We must have a concept clear, very, very clear. Okay? What is the difference between movement movement and flowing. Suppose this one is there. Suppose this pen is there. Now if I just do like this, what is happening? The whole pen is going from one place to another place, right? That is movement. But if suppose some amount of water is there and if I do like this to that water, what will happen? It will flow. It's not that the whole water will go from here to here, right? It is flowing, it will flow. Understood that? Understood the difference, the basic difference concept between the movement and the flowing, you understood that? Right. So, this resists. But crystalline solids are absolutely resists. But amorphous solids had been found that they are flowing. Glass, for example, is flowing. You don't see glass is flowing. This glass flow. Does the glass flow? If I just throw the glass, obviously it will move. It flows, but flows very, very slowly. Very, very slowly. It takes years and years of time. How can you say that it flows? If we take the door, some ancient buildings, glass door is there, or glass window is there. Suppose if I check the glass window of this particular room or your house, whatever, you will see that the glass door or the glass window is very uniform. Its thickness is very uniform. But if you go to very ancient building, the historical buildings and all, where the glass windows or glass doors are there, you will see that the bottom portion of the bottom portion of the glass door or the glass window is a little bit thicker. What does it indicate? It indicates that it was flowing. It was flowing years after years, and the bottom portion had become thicker. That is why these are also called, means the amorphous solids are also called pseudo solids. We also call them pseudo, what is the meaning of pseudo? All of you know this, okay? False, right? Pseudo solids. They are also called pseudo solids because they have the tendency to flow. But flow very, very slowly. It's not that they are flowing very rapidly. Okay? Very slow. Not like liquids. Okay? If they are not liquids, they are pseudo solids. Now, how can we convert? Can we convert the crystalline solid into amorphous solid? Yes, the amorphous solids are formed rather from the crystalline solids, or can be converted into the crystalline solid. From crystalline solid. Just I am taking an example. All of you have heard about this glass. I had already told that it is an amorphous solid. And the glass, chemically it is nothing but, I don't know whether you know it or not. Chemically it is nothing but silicon dioxide. Chemically glass is nothing but silicon dioxide. जो बाली होता है, sand होता है, that is also silicon dioxide. This is also silicon dioxide, just in different forms they make it. Okay. And another thing which also you have heard about it, quartz. All of you have heard about it, quartz. Yes, watch में होता है, आजकल बहुत होता है, quartz का बहुत चीज होता है. That is also silicon dioxide. That is also solid, and that is also silicon dioxide, but this is crystalline silicon dioxide. This is crystalline silicon dioxide. Clear? Quartz is crystal, glass is amorphous of the same substance. We can convert the quartz into glass. Guessing. How? We take quartz, we melt it. Take quartz solid, and we will melt it. This is the melt of quartz. Melt of quartz. Okay? And then after melting, we will cool it rapidly. Means very fast. Cool it very fast. Immediately we will put it in very deep freeze with very low temperature. So it will solidify. This melt will solidify and solidify into glass. This quartz will convert into glass. Ununiform हो जाएगा. Uniform था, ununiform हो जाएगा उसका arrangement, and it will convert into glass. That is why the amorphous solids are also called, I am using certain terms, okay? The amorphous solids are also called supercooled liquids. Supercooled liquids. You can understand the words? Supercooled liquids. We are converting the crystalline solid into liquid, and then we are supercooling it. Yes, we are supercooling it. We are cooling it very rapidly, very fast. That is why these are also called supercooled liquids. Which are called supercooled liquids? The amorphous solids are called supercooled liquids. Is it clear? Clear? No doubt? Very good. One more property. There is a difference in one more property. There are certain physical properties. Certain physical properties, out of that only one I will tell. Okay. For example, what is the fact There are so many others also. Thermal stability is there. There are so many other properties are also there. I am just taking the refractive index. Refractive index. Certain physical properties. For example, refractive index. You know what is refractive index? You know that? You studied that in class 10? Yes? What is that? Mu, right? Is it equal to sin I by sin R? Yes? Yes, you know that? What is I? Angle of incidence. And angle of refraction is this. And that is refractive index. Right? All of us know this. And what is refraction? All of you know this. This is nothing new for you. Now, if you measure the refractive index of a glass slab, if you didn't do it in the school in class 10, because maybe in CBSE board it is not there, SSC board it might be there, and it was actually in class 11, but your class 11 practical going in, so certainly you are going to do it in class 12. Okay? What is there? Here we take a board, a card, just a wooden board is there. On top of that, we just take a piece of paper, simply a piece of paper, white paper. Then we put a glass slab on it, a glass slab like this, a glass slab, complete a solid glass slab. Clear? Then we put suppose two beams here, two beams over here. So this is where the angle of incidence is. Clear? Now we see through here. We see through here. Obviously this will be reflected. We see through here and we see the straight line, and then we put some other beams over here so that we can get the angle of refraction also. Yes? It will be refracted obviously. Rays will be refracted. It is a very easy experiment. You can do that at home also. If you try to maintain that straight line, you will put the beams, then if you take out the glass, you will find that that is not a straight line, that is refracted. That is refracted. Okay? So angle of incidence, angle of refraction we can find out. We can find out the value of mu. Clear? Fine. Suppose we find out the value of mu is equal to 5. Just suppose we got the value of mu is equal to 5. When we took the angle of incidence as 30 degrees. Angle of incidence is 30 degrees. For 30 degree angle of incidence, we found the value of mu is equal to 5. Now I want to change that. Change the angle of incidence. So you put the beams here. So your angle is now 45 degrees. Your angle of incidence is now 45 degrees. Obviously, angle of refraction will also change. You will find the value of mu. You will still find the value of mu as 5. Yes? So the value of mu is not depending on the angle of incidence. Yes? Doesn't matter whatever angle you make, it is coming same. Clear? Now this glass slab I am not going to keep like this, I am going to keep like this. And I am going to keep the beams like this, and I am going to see the refraction in the opposite side. Okay? Okay? You will still find that the refractive index is same. Yes? So refractive index does not depend on the angle as well as the side from which the refraction is taking place. The angle, the ray of incidence is coming. It is not depending on that. For whom? For glass. For whom? For glass. And what is glass? Glass is an amorphous solid. Glass is an amorphous solid. If we try to do the same thing with a crystalline solid, with a quartz, we will find they are varying. They are varying. The angle of refraction is, the refractive index is varying with the variation of angle or side. That is another difference in property. That is why the amorphous solids are also called, another term I am introducing, okay, also called isotropic solid. Iso means constant, isotropic, not isotopic. Isotope nahi, isotropic solid means what are isotropic solids? Amorphous solids are isotropic solids. Why? Because certain physical properties like refractive index are found same irrespective of the angle and side. Clear? But if it is different with respect to the angle or side, then those solids are called anisotropic solid. Anisotropic solid. Yes? Is it clear? Clear or not? Clear? Okay. Here we end for the amorphous solids. Amorphous solids हम लोगों को इतना ही है, ठीक है? Now we are going to deal with the crystalline solids in detail. But before that, I want to recap. I want to ask, tell me, solids क्या है उन्हें पूछना होगा, because you know that what is solids, that is certain properties you know it. Okay. So solids, depending on its intermolecular force of attraction, can be classified in how many types? How many types? Depending on intermolecular force of attraction, it can be classified as how many types? Huh? 4 types. 4 types. What did I say? What are the types? Tell me. Ionic. You understood what is ionic? See what? आप सुना है, आपको सिर्फ वर्ड से पता चल रहा है, आप पढ़ा भी नहीं, एक लाइन भी पढ़ा नहीं है. You just know what I told us. That's all. Ionic solid 5. What is ionic solid? Tell me. What is ionic solid or ionic bond solid? When the particles that is present in the solids are ions. First, obviously, it has to be positive ion and negative ion, right? And the force of attraction between them would be electrostatic force of attraction or ionic force of attraction. Clear? Next. Molecular solid, metallic solid. Okay, metallic solid क्या है? Where the particles are metal atoms. Metal atoms, and the force of attraction is metallic bonding. That's the special kind of force of attraction. Clear? Okay. Molecular solid. The particles are molecules. Now that molecules can be attracted with each other by 2 types of forces. What are these? Polar, non-polar. Yes. If the molecule is polar, it will be polar bond. I mean polar dipolar interaction. If it is non-polar, it is simply van der Waals force of attraction. And the special type of intermolecular force of attraction is what? Hydrogen bonding. So that is hydrogen bonding solid. Again, hydrogen bonding solid can be of 2 types also. You know this. One is intermolecular hydrogen bonding solid. Another one is intramolecular hydrogen bonding solid. That we already know. Intermolecular hydrogen bonding solid, intramolecular hydrogen bonding solid. One more type is there. Okay, I just mixed it up. That is covalent solid. That is covalent bond solid. Covalent bond solid. Okay, what is covalent bond solid? You can understand that. What is the nature of the bonding now? Covalent. For example, suppose diamond. Suppose diamond, graphite. What is there? What is there? What is there? Carbon. Only carbon atoms are there, right? Diamond में क्या है? सिर्फ carbon atom है. And these carbon atoms are bonded. These are the particles, and they are bonded. How they are bonded? They are bonded by covalent bonding. Yes. Okay. So if the covalent bonds are present in between the particles, then those are called the covalent bond solids. Yes. So that is one way of classification, depending on what? Depending on the intermolecular force of attraction. Clear? But the main way of classification solids का कितना है? 2 type. What are the 2 types? Crystalline, amorphous. Okay. How can you identify? Just simple way. There are so many properties, but how can you identify that a solid is crystalline or amorphous? Yes. Amorphous has a range of melting point. Has a range of melting point. Right? It melts in a range of temperature. At a range of temperature. And crystalline solid has a specific melting point, fixed melting point. इसका अलावा और क्या क्या डिफरेंसेस है प्रॉपर्टीज में? क्या क्या बोला मैंने? आइसोट्रोपिक and isotropic हो गया तो? What is isotropic and isotropic? Isotropic means what? Which is isotropic? Amorphous or crystalline? Amorphous. Why? Why amorphous is isotropic? Because certain properties. Here I have talked about only one. There are certain others. Clear? Which are found to be same irrespective of what? Irrespective of angle and side. Angle and side. Irrespective of angle and side, these certain physical properties are found to be same. That is why they are called what? That is why they are called isotropic solid. And if they are found different, then they are called anisotropic solid. In which case it is found like that? In case of crystalline solid. Yes? Okay? Okay? Why amorphous solids are called pseudosolids? Because they can flow. Yes? Why amorphous solids are called supercooled liquids? Because the crystalline solids can be converted into amorphous solids by first melting and then rapid cooling. Rapid cooling, not only cooling. Okay, cooling to anybody, anything you cool, it will convert into solid. Rapid cooling. Yes, fine. Okay, very good. And what else? Dharmajali, right? Okay, we have done up Dharmajali. Yes, fine. Okay, then we are moving to the crystalline solids. Crystalline solids में first of all we must understand few terms. Okay, few terms. Now crystalline solids in our syllabus, crystalline solids में सिर्फ और सिर्फ ionic solids, only ionic solids are there. Okay, so we are going to talk about the ionic solids only ionic solids. Now what is ionic solid? All of us know. What is ionic solid? Where the particles are ions, the positive ion or the negative ion. Ionic solids. Fine. The first term I am going to introduce is lattice point. Lattice point. You should be habituated with these terms. Lattice point or lattice points, whatever it is. Now what is lattice points? Till now I talked about particles. The particles can be ions, particles can be atoms, it can be molecules. I am telling them as particles till now. Yes? But in crystalline solids, we call those particles as the lattice points. Simple, nothing, just a term. For example, if I talk about sodium chloride crystal, if the sodium chloride crystal is perfect, so how the sodium chloride should be arranged? Sodium ion, chloride ion. I am just trying to draw it in two dimensions. Okay? Chloride ion, sodium ion, chloride ion, yes, sodium ion, chloride, and so on. Very uniformly arranged. What are the particles in it? What are the particles? The ions, right? Okay. These particles are called lattice points. These are called lattice points. Nothing. It's simple. These are called lattice points. Yes. Okay. Fine. Then the next one is unit cell. Unit cell. Now please open the book. It will be easier for me to make you understand from here. Just the diagram. You have to see the diagram. Nothing else, because it's very hard for me to draw the diagram. See this one. Figure 1.9. Figure 1.9. Yes, did you see? Figure 1.9. See, this is a crystalline solid. You got it? Everybody see? Simple, very simple. This is a crystalline solid where you can see the small circles, green circles. These are what? Lattice points. You understood that? These are lattice points. Clear? Now you can see a red shaded area is there, right? That red shaded area is some three-dimensional area. Yes? Just think of, is it looking like a Rubik cube? Yes, all of you have played with a Rubik cube, so you can give that example also. So Rubik cube itself is a crystal. The total is a solid, crystalline solid. But that Rubik cube is made up of that small cubes. Yes? Just like that, this red shaded area is a small cube. If you repeat that red shaded area in x-axis, y-axis and z-axis, then you will get the whole crystal. Will you get the whole crystal? So is that red shaded area is the smallest part in the total crystal, which is repeated to give you the structure of the crystal? Yes? That is what is known as unit cell. How this red shaded area is produced? What are responsible for the generation of this red shaded area? What are they? That is points. So this is, now I am defining it. See, it's not that I marked up. I never mark up. I cannot remember my phone number also. Okay. So it's just, don't think sir is marking up. Sir has the concept and sir knows little bit of English because that's all simple. What is lattice point? It's the smallest area, smallest three-dimensional area, whatever is smallest three-dimensional space. Three-dimensional area बोलना नहीं चाहिए, space. Okay. Formed by who are responsible for the formation of this smallest point? Lattice points formed by the lattice points. Clear? And if it is repeated in all three directions, that forms the overall crystal, the total crystal. Total crystalline structure is responsible for the repetition of the unit cell in all three dimensions. Yes? That area, that space is known as unit cell. So a unit cell is the smallest three-dimensional area produced by or formed by the lattice points and repeated in all three dimensions to give the structure of the crystal. Clear? Is it clear? In your own language you can write what is unit cell. Yes? You understood what is lattice point? What is unit cell? You understood that? Yes or not? Very good. Now, this unit cell can be, okay, first of all, these lattice points are how they are arranged. A solid is obviously three-dimensional. You can see here. First, we must understand one-dimensional arrangement. Here, nothing that I knowingly I didn't say because that you can understand very easily. See, if I talk about the one-dimensional arrangement of the unit cells, one-dimensional arrangement of the unit cell, you understand one-dimensional along x-axis. So one-dimensional arrangement of the unit cell means one lattice point is here, one lattice point is here, one lattice point is here, just like the lamp post in a straight road. Okay, they are arranged uniformly. If it is two-dimensional arrangement, then it is like this. Yes, it is like this, just like a bed sheet. Or if you see a tea garden from the top, two-dimensional. Is this the two-dimensional arrangement? Figure 1.6. 1.6 on next figure you can see. Is that the two-dimensional arrangement? Uniformly arranged in two dimensions. But neither solid, crystalline solid is neither one-dimensional, not two-dimensional. In actual practice, it's a three-dimensional structure. What is the three-dimensional structure? You can see it. Clear? That is just one of the structures. It is not that all crystals are like this. Crystals can be of different shapes. Okay? Now, what will be the shape of the crystal? That is determined by the shape of the unit cell. Clear? Any crystalline structure can be defined by a set of 14 unit cells. Okay? आप लोग सब jigsaw puzzles खेले हो? We all are jigsaw puzzles and building blocks. We are done. We have played it in childhood, right? Okay. अभी भी कोई भी खेलता हो, है ना? Jigsaw puzzles. It's very nice game also. I to play. And then the building blocks, है ना? You have to make some different shapes with certain building blocks are there, है ना? So there are 14 types of blocks by which you can make any building. 14 types of what? 14 types of unit cells. The building blocks are what? Those are unit cells. By which you can make any building, by which you can make any crystal. Clear? This set of 14 unit cells are called Bravais unit cells. Okay? Bravais unit cells. That's the name of the scientist who found it out. Okay? Bravais unit cells. So there are 14 unit cells which can be used to form any crystalline solid. Now, how these 14 unit cells are different? Out of this 14, now let me tell that. Out of this 14, 7 of them are, I'm introducing another term called primitive. 7 of them are called primitive and 7 of them are called centered. The unit cell you had seen now, what is the shape of it? Cube. The unit cell you had seen in the picture is just cube. Cube is just one type of unit cell. Okay? Fine. Like that, there can be so many types. How many types? Total 14 types of unit cells can be there. Clear? Out of the 14 types, 7 are primitive. Primitive means the unit cell lattice point will be present only at the corners of the unit cell. यहाँ पे कहाँ पे है आपका रेड वन में? Only at the corners में है. समझना है, इसको विजुअलाइज करना है, ठीक है? Only at the corners है और कहीं पे नहीं है. Yes? अगर आपका यूनिट सेल ऐसे होता, this is your unit cell, where the lattice points Q only, lattice points are present at the corners and somewhere else, suppose at the center of the body का बीच में, this is unit cell and this is repeated. Then that type of unit cell are called centered unit cell. Understood that? When it is present only at the corners, it is called primitive unit cell. When along with the corner somewhere else, I told somewhere else, does not mean at the center. It can be present here also. Yes, somewhere else excepting corners. Clear? Then they are called centered unit cell. How many centered are possible? How many primitive are possible? 7 centered, 7 primitive. Turn the next page. You can see 7 primitive structures. Can you see 7 primitive structures? Can you see? No need of remembering anything. Can you see that? 7 primitive structures? Yes? पहले वाला क्या है? Cubic. Very good. Next one. यहाँ पे 7 you are seeing ना? First one is cubic. Next one is? Yes. Next one is? Next one is? Very good. Next one? Next rhombic. Rhombus है rhombic. Okay. Next one? Monoclinic. Okay. Next one? You don't have to remember this. Just tell me by seeing this that how are they differing from each other? How rhombic is different from cubic? Now obviously they are differing in shape. How the shapes are different? By either angles or by sides. You see? They are differing from each other either by angles or by sides. किसी का एंगल डिफरेंट है, किसी का साइड डिफरेंट है, किसी का एंगल और साइड दोनों डिफरेंट है. Yes, so these unit cells are differing from each other by angles or sides. Okay, ये 7 हो गया आपका क्या primitive, right? सेंटर का शेप का ही है, सिर्फ लैटिस पॉइंट दूसरा का ही है कॉर्नर का. Did you understand that? In our cells, only cubic unit cell, only cubic unit cell is there. ठीक है? So we are concentrating on the cubic unit cell. ठीक है? Cubic unit cell can be mainly of 3 types. Mainly of 3 types. Okay? Now close the. When required, I will tell you. Otherwise the concentration will go. Just see. The first one is this one. What is this? Where the lattice points are present only at the corners of the cube. Clear? Then that particular unit cell we call simple cubic. We call simple cubic. ठीक है? The second one, please understand. Second one, the units, the lattice points are present at the corners and also at the center of the faces. Tell me, cube का कितना face होता है? Face. See, this cube, this is a cube, this room is a cube. How many faces are there? 6 faces are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Yes, center of each face. Okay, so one is, this is front center, face. Okay, center of the face, back face, center, this side, center, bottom, center, top, center, this side, center. Okay, 6 faces of the center. Yes, you can visualize that or not, because I am drawing on 2 dimension. You should understand it in 3 dimension. You can think of this room and you can understand this. Yes, this is face centered cubic unit cell. We call it FCC in short. Always we use this FCC. Face centered cubic. Face centered cubic. Clear? The first one is simple cubic, where only at the corners it is there. Next one is face centered cubic, where along with the corners they are present in the center of the faces. And the last one is, and 3 main ones, obviously I am talking of 3 main ones. The last one is present along with the corners, there one is also present at the center of the body. Here, यहाँ पे center of the, this room, all 8 corners are there and one is present here at the center of the body. Yes, then we call it body centered cubic unit cell. BCC, body centered cubic unit cell. Yes, okay, these are the main 3 types of cubic unit cell. Except in this, there are 2 other types also which also you should know, that is not in your syllabus, but you should know. As I told, little bit higher level I will go all the time because of your entrance. Okay, so the next one is what? Next one is age centered. You can understand from the word itself, age centered. Edge centered. You will get it in your notes in your study maths. Okay, so don't worry about that. Edge centered. Edge centered means what? How many edges are there in the cube? Tell me, what is edge? How many edges are there in the cube? Count and see. Just visualize. See and tell me how many edges are there in the cube. Edges. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 edges are there. Yes. Yes, visualize it. Don't remember at all. Okay, visualize it. 12 edges are there. So edge centered means what? You can understand what is edge centered. The cube is there where at the corners the lattice points will be there, and along with the corners they will be present in the center of each edge. Yes? Okay? Center of each edge. 1, 2, 3, and yes? Total 12 edges. At the center of 12 edges. Yes? And the last one. This is the two special type, obviously. We are not going to do much. Just this much you have to know. Edge center and little bit more we will do that. And another one is the end center. End center. End center. Okay, what is the end centered? Now, at the, in a cube, obviously the lattice points will be present at the corners. Lattice points will be present at the corners, and along with the corners, they will be present in the opposite two faces. Only two faces, opposite two faces. अगर एक यहाँ पे होगा, तो एक यहाँ पे होगा. अगर ये नहीं होगा, एक यहाँ पे होगा तो एक वहाँ पे होगा. अगर ये भी नहीं होगा तो एक यहाँ पे होगा, एक यहाँ पे होगा. Only two opposite faces there will be. So any two opposite faces I am drawing here. This is end-centered cubic unit cell. But once again I am saying there are three main types. What are these? Simple cubic, FCC, and BCC. Recap. Tell me. What is unit cell? What is lattice point name? What is unit cell? And what is lattice, by the way? Another term we must know. What is lattice? Lattice is nothing but three-dimensional arrangement of the lattice point. It's nothing but three-dimensional arrangement. The whole thing is lattice. We call it lattice array, lattice arrangement. Three-dimensional arrangement of the lattice point is called lattice. Yes? Yes? Okay. So what is unit cell? What do you understand by unit cell? Tell me. The smallest space produced by the lattice points is repeated in all three directions to give us the complete structure of the crystal. देख हमने जितने बार definition बोला हर बार कुछ ना कुछ अलग बोला. So it's not that I mugged up and I told and you are also not going to know. But none of the points should be missed. It's what? It's the smallest space made by whom? Made by the lattice points. And if it is, arranged in all three directions, it will give you the structure of the crystal. Yes? Okay? How many types of unit cells are possible? 14 types. A set of 14 unit cells are possible. Clear? What are these called? Revised set of unit cells. Okay? Revised set of unit cells. Okay? Out of these 14, there are two types. Primitive and centered. Primitive means what? Primitive unit cell means what? That कुछ किताब उठना ही नहीं अभी आधा चैप्टर आपको हो गया ऐसे. Primitive unit cell means what? Lattice points are present only at the corner. That is why I am telling concentration. घर जाने को आप एक घंटा मैंने बोला आधा घंटे से पढ़ना है. और whatever questions are given there are given repeating question. Whatever questions are given, the questions will be solved. That's all. Okay. So what is there? What is primitive unit cell? The lattice points are present only at the corners, edges, edge, what is corner? You must be very clear about this. What is edge, what is corner, what is face? Yes, everything should be very clear. What is center? Okay, fine. Okay, what is centered unit, sir? Along with the corners, somewhere else. Where? Somewhere else. Clear? Mainly 3 types of cubic units are there. What are these? Simple cubic. Yes, simple cubic means what? Only at the corners. Yes, then FCC. Face centered cubic units are where are the present? And at the center of the faces. All the faces. At the center of the faces. Face centered. Okay, center of the faces. Yes. And third type is BCC. Body centered cubic units are at the corners and at the center of the body. Except in these 3 main types, there are 2 special types. What are the 2 special types? Edge centered, you can understand that. 12 edges के corner में होगा और normal corner में होगा. And another one is what? Opposite 2 faces. Clear? Clear? Very good. Last topic today I will teach is last topic today I will teach is the effective number of lattice points in a unit cell. I don't know whether all cells are common or not. I can do the notes, otherwise you need to tell me. You're supposed to cover 6 or 7. Okay. Next is effective number of lattice points. Now we will say, we will visualize it. First, in case of simple cubic. Now please understand. Please understand. Okay? Understand means please visualize. Simple cubic means what? What do you understand by simple cubic units, sir? Are present only at the corners. Okay? Think this room as a simple unit cell. And this unit cell is repeated in all 3 directions. Everywhere, all around the rooms are there. Different rooms are there. This is just one unit cell. Either everywhere the room is there. Think of a sphere. Think of a sphere at the corner. Think of a sphere at the corner whose center is at the corner. Just think, imagine that. I cannot explain, you have to visualize. I can only say and you have to visualize it. एक स्फीयर है इस कॉर्नर में या कोई भी कॉर्नर में जिसका सेंटर इज द कॉर्नर. This sphere, this ball, suppose a ball, okay, is shared with how many rooms? Visualize it. This sphere, please visualize it. Take your time and visualize it. This sphere is shared with how many rooms? चारों तरफ रूम है, ऊपर नीचे आगे पीछे सब जगह में रूम. This is shared with how many rooms? सोच के बाद. Just visualize. No, take your time. No issues. We are much at it. No issues. Take your time and search your. Just visualize. Don't look at me. Just visualize. Yes. You can see 8. You can see or not? You can visualize or not? ठीक है 8. अब आप लोग भी visualize करने की कोशिश करो. One sphere. This sphere is shared with how many rooms? मैं आपको बता दूंगा, बट अभी आप विजुअलाइज करो पहले. मैं बताने से नहीं होगा, और आप याद करने से नहीं होगा. Just see this room, next room, this side. Yes. Where soda sir is teaching. Next to that room. ये क्या हो गया? आधा स्क्वायर हो गया. ये आधा स्क्वायर हो गया ना? इसका ऊपर जो रूम है, सर का ऊपर जो रूम है, उस रूम का ऊपर जो रूम है, इस रूम का ऊपर जो रूम है उसमें भी है ना आधा. तो टोटल कितना रूम में है इसमें? 8 रूम है. Could you visualize that? This sphere is present in 8 rooms. Yes. So how much of the sphere share this room is getting? 1/8. 1/8. Yes. 1/8 share it is getting. Yes. So the unit cell present at the corner is giving only 1/8 share to the unit cell. If the unit cell is present at the corner, how much share it is giving to the unit cell? Only 1/8. Now we are talking of simple cubic unit cell. कहाँ पे है simple cubic unit cell का lattice points? Corners पे. Okay? Corners पे. कितना corners है? How many corners are there in the cube? 8 corners are there. Each lattice point is giving how much share to this? 1/8. So total, if I ask you total, how many only in this room? How many pairs are there? Only one is there. Everybody is giving how much? 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8. बाकी 7, 8 बाहर है. इसका बाहर है. Yes, that is what is known as effective number. Effectively, how many lattice points are present in the room? Only one in case of simple cubic. Did you get it? So for simple cubic, this is nothing. Everybody can understand this, but you must visualize it. Effective number of the unit cell in the effective number of the lattice point in the simple cubic unit cell is how much? 1. How it is 1? Because each corner का कितना दे रहा है? 1/8 share है. Yes, and 8 of such are there. 8 of them are there. So total it is 1/8 into 8. That is 8. Tell me about FCC. Tell me. You think and tell. Think and tell. FCC कहाँ पे है? सोचो. कहाँ पे है? FCC lattice points कहाँ पे है? पहले तो कॉर्नर में है. कॉर्नर में 8 तो है ना? कॉर्नर में 8 है there ना? That is already there, right? 1/8 into 8 which is giving. Plus और कहाँ पे है? Center of the face. कोई भी face ले लो. ये face ले लो. इसमें एक square समझो. How much share it is getting? Half. ये सिर्फ 2 रूम में हो रहा है ना? This is only shared between 2 rooms, right? So half of which share it is getting? How many of such are there? How many of such are there? How many faces are there? 6 faces are there. Did you get it? So what is the effective number? 1 plus 3. Yes? Did you get it? So face center में effectively how many are there? 4 are there. Did you get it or not? Yes? Clear? Tell me about BCC. Tell me about BCC. BCC में कहाँ पे है? हाँ. BCC में कहाँ पे है? BCC? Where is the BCC? BCC? Tell. Where are the BCC में? Corners में है and at the center of the body. Center of the body BCC. Okay? So corners में है is 1/8 into 8 plus center of the body में जो है is it shared with anyone? No, it is completely its own. So plus 1. है ना? Yes? So that is equal to how much? 2. Tell me about these two. X center and X center. Tell me. Edge. Think of edge. Think of edge. Edge का center. Edge का center. How many rooms it is shared? 4 rooms. 1, 2. इसका ऊपर, उसका ऊपर. So how much it is getting? 1/4. Yes. Yes or not? So how much it is? 1/8 into 8 तो है ही है. Plus 1/4 into how many of them are there? 12 of them are there. So how much it is? This is 3 plus 1. That is 4 again. Yes. Okay. So 1/8 into 8 that is 4 only. Yes or not? Did you understand that? Okay. अभी लास्ट वाला बताओ. N center बताओ मेरे को. और चाहिए? Okay. Extra? You got? Okay. चलो. बोलो. बाद में पहले ये कर ले. Okay. Now tell me about N centered you tell. How many are there? N centered means what I told? Corners में होगा and opposite two faces. Opposite two faces only. So corners में होगा means what? 1/8 into 8. Yes. Plus फेस में जो होता है वो कितना शेयर देता है? हाफ into how much? How many of them are there? Only two are there. Yes. So how much is it? 2. Did you get it? Yes. Okay. You got the notes in right times. Now you see whatever you studied. You see how many pages you studied. Just look at this. Here, this is your study max. You are going to study from here only till where I have taught. Just have a look at it. We have finished up to effective numbers, right?
Yes, sir.
That is page number 4. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Oh, polymorph I missed. Polymorph I missed. What is polymorphs? Polymorphs means, what is allotropes? First you tell me what is allotropes. You have heard about the term allotropes. What is allotropes? Tell me, what is allotropes?
Same physical, same chemical configuration, but different physical.
Same chemical properties but different physical properties. Example,
Carbon and
carbon itself is a element.
graphite and
Just few minutes back I told graphite and diamond. Fine, I'll take that. Okay. Graphite and diamond is graphite and diamond is allotropes. Why they are allotropes? Because they have got the same chemical properties but different physical properties. Yes. What is the state of graphite and diamond? Solid. Now, do you know that allotropes? You give the example this one. Do you know the allotropes can be in different states also? It can be in gaseous state also, it can be in liquid state also. But if they are in solid state, then they are called polymorphs. So polymorphs are what? Polymorphs are nothing but the solid allotropes. These are nothing but solid allotropes. Finished. Allotropes means in general. It can be solid, it can be liquid, it can be gaseous. Having the same physical property but different, same chemical property but different physical properties. But if it is applicable for solids only, then we call them polymorphs. Fine? Okay? देखो अभी देखो और कुछ छोड़ा भी नहीं देखो, just check it out. Nicely check it out. Have you understood everything or not? See that? Just have a look at that. And once again I am saying these notes are exclusively for you. You can open it and study anywhere, but you are not going to share it with anyone who are not coming for the tuition. Yes? Okay? Clear? And I am going to give you this. This is, you don't have to do the photocopy and all. Before the, as I told, before the Kritika was not there. So before the start of the chapter, I am going to give you. Okay? Today I was a little bit late, maybe few minutes late. Okay, because he came and that is not my fault. But I am going to give it to you, and then we are going to start the chapter. So first this first chapter will finish, then only you will think of the second chapter. Okay? And you are going to study from here and solve the questions from NCERT. That whenever I will say. Today I am not going to give you any questions. Just visualize it. Thanda dimag se all these things, whatever I told. I think you will get everything. Just check it out. And you can do one thing. You can try to solve the question that is there just after that. Just after that, without seeing the solution. Solution is also there, but don't see the solution. Just after that, after page number 4, there is a question you can see. Now, right now, you can try to solve it. Just see the question without seeing the solution. Okay? Don't cheat yourself. Solve the question. What about Shantar? Shantar, no? What